Alright guys, welcome back to Play the Outdoors. Okay, so to begin with, I'd like to apologize to you guys, my viewers. That is because it's been a while since I've actually posted a video. The reason being is, as some of you guys know, I've been focusing on bear hunting. This is actually my first time ever having targeted bear, and it's been quite a grind. I was kind of hoping to get it done within the first week of opener, but that is not the case. Bear hunting is actually a lot of work, a lot of scouting, and it comes down to prepping the shooting area and feeding and all that. So it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort into it, and as some of you guys know, that is why I've been gone for so long. It's gotta be at least 3 to 4 weeks now, almost a month, that I have not yet posted a video, let alone done any other side hobby, that is fishing or like even small game or archery for deer, which actually just opened this past weekend. So I figured I might as well throw you guys a bone and fill you guys in on what I've been doing. I hope this is not a long video, guys. I really hope it's not, but you know what, stick around, and I'm actually gonna have some pretty good trail cam content in there, so just stay tuned, and yeah, so let's begin. Alright, so let's start from the beginning. I did not actually find out about me having drawn a bear tag until I want to say December. Don't quote me on that because I can't really remember, it's been so long already. So it wasn't until like, I want to say winterish, that I found out. So that's when I knew that I had to start accumulating information and collecting bait. So when it came to information, I had actually reached out to a lot of friends and family and just get like a general idea of where bears were located. Personally, I myself, I've had my own encounters. I've had bears come in, running in when I was deer hunting up in tree stand. Other times were when I was, for example, like spring turkey hunting, and I would see footprints in the mud and tracks and stuff, like bear footprints. And yeah, I've actually never personally caught a bear on my trail cams, but other people have, and that's the information that I had gathered, and that's what helped me to determine my locations of all these trail cam photos that you guys are going to see very shortly here. So my number one regret was actually not checking out those locations beforehand. I waited until, I want to say, towards the end of July into the beginning of August to actually start baiting, and during that time period, that's when it's like the warmest, so the mosquitoes were horrible. I wish I would have actually started baiting back in the opening season of baiting, which is in Wisconsin, April 15th. But the thing is, during that time, that's actually during the turkey hunting period, and that's actually when I was actually turkey hunting, and I didn't want to go out there and mess like with other people's turkey hunts. So the plan initially was to actually start baiting from May and go on forth. But the thing is, I was just so focused on muskie fishing at the time, because that's around the time when muskie season opened up. So that is another reason why you guys don't see me posting more of me fishing for muskies. I really want to do it, but the fact that I'm just so invested into bear baiting is that I haven't been doing any of my other side hobbies. Okay, so again, that was my number one regret, was actually not baiting sooner, because now the mosquitoes are horrible. So then when I was actually going out there to go check out the spots, it was just constantly just looking at my phone and swatting mosquitoes and all that. So then that's where my one of my biggest advice to you is getting a head net and head meshing, something that goes over your head so the mosquitoes can't access your face. Okay, so I actually found two spots that were located south. I'm gonna name them South 1 and South 2. South 1 was actually the first one that I actually found, and the first one I actually had bears coming to. So my first intent was to find a location and put laydowns down. After I knew that the bears were actually hitting it, how did I know? Was when the logs were actually like broken apart and open, because raccoons, they usually just kind of shift things over to the side, versus like bears would just tear through it. So then that's how I knew a bear hit it, and that's when I actually threw a camera on and threw a hollow log on with a cap. That way my bait would be better contained, and raccoons and squirrels and stuff would have a harder time accessing the food and stealing before the bears actually got to it. So the first thing that actually hit my bait was a raccoon. As you guys can see, this raccoon is actually trying to dig through it, and before that, that's where I was like, oh, this is perfect. The raccoons can't move these logs, but I was wrong. Later on, throughout the baiting season, you guys will see these raccoons, they have friends, and these friends, when they have like a will, there's a way, and they will get into that bait no matter what they, no matter how they can. Well, anyways, this raccoon actually hit it on that was July 31st, and it wasn't until the next day that I actually had first footage of my first bear ever on trail cam and of this year. As you guys can see, this bear wasn't really big. It was from my noob experience. I want to say this bear was for sure under 200 pounds. I want to say it's probably like 160 to maybe 180 pushing it, but for sure not over 200 pounds. So then I was kind of like, you know, this is not the biggest bear out there. Right now, let's just wait to see if there's any other bears that would come around. So right now, in my eyes, this wasn't really a shooter bear. Personally, I just thought this bear wasn't big enough. But you know what? At this point where I haven't really seen a bear physically, I would take this bear any day, quite honestly. Okay, so then August 2nd was actually my first deer action. I had a doe come in. She brought her fawn with her, and they actually just kind of snooped around the bear bait. That's my first experience with, like, I always thought deer were scared of bears, and if their scent were around, then they would just completely avoid it. Not only that, I'm using things like jellies, like strawberry jellies and stuff, butterscotch, just stuff that just reek on top of bread. So I never expected deer to come into it, but you know what? They did, and they do. So as you guys can see, I got a doe and her fawn coming through, and I was pretty stoked about that, quite honestly, because that was pretty cool. So at this point, I'm baiting probably like, I want to say every 3 to 4 days. So I wasn't really like diehard committed to like just continuously baiting it for these bears. So that smaller of the bear kept coming, like I said, like it kept coming like maybe the day after I had baited. So it wasn't until the 10th where I got what I thought was to be a bigger bear to come in. I wasn't completely sure if it was the same bear or not, because like judging from trail cams, it's kind of hard to tell whether or not you have the same bear or not. So it wasn't until the actual 13th that I saw some kind of differentiation between the bear. This particular bear that came during on August 13th, it actually has a white patch on his belly, and this is where I got super excited, and I was like, this is the one. This is the bear I want. For sure, I'm going to be mounting this one. I'm going to be doing a belly mounting up. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be the most beautiful thing out there. But later on, I wish I could just chew on my own words, because this bear eventually, we don't even talk about it anymore. Even at this point, I wasn't sure if it was the same exact bear or two different bears. Reason being because the first images that I actually had back on the first, I couldn't really see the chest too well, so I wasn't sure if it's just like angles and stuff that was just playing tricks on my eyes. So at this point, I still thought it was the same bear. Alright, so August 18th was actually the first live footage that I had of this bear coming in and feeding, so I thought that was pretty cool. I actually finally decided to start videoing these bears, because I wasn't sure how active they're going to be with the baits, and yeah, I got some footage of that. As you guys can see, this bear is actually pretty picky for what he was eating. You can see he wasn't just like chowing down on the food, he's just slowly picking at it, and he only ate like a handful of it, not as much as you would think a bear, or like what you would think a bear would eat, and that is like just cleaning it out. And that's what you would notice too, is like bears, they just come in, eat what they want, and they just leave. And then you know what comes in right after them? Raccoons. I had a lot of raccoons come through this bait. It was a big problem with this bait. As you guys can see, I played around the log. You guys see that hollow up log, just constantly just getting moved around, because like at some point I had it on the ground. The raccoons were actually digging underneath the ground and like reaching out, even though like that log was probably like 3 to 4 inches like thick. The raccoon still managed to pull everything out of like bread, everything. Like they cleaned it out. Like it almost looked like a squirrel actually came and just cleaned and cleared it out. But no, raccoons were just like adamant, just constantly just eating it, cleaning the crap out of it. It was insane. Alright, so August 23rd finally came around, and as you guys can see, this bear came in during the day, and it's currently 2:37 at this time, and this is exactly what you want to see. You want to see bears coming in during a day like this and be comfortable. As you guys can see, he's just kind of like snooping around, just like checking out the food and everything. Like he looks pretty comfortable. It wasn't until 2:42 that you guys can see the next big event of my whole baiting season. Can you guys see it? Up in the left corner. I'll put an arrow on it. Alright, so that is actually a second bear. I'm gonna fast forward again to 243, and you guys can actually see the bears more clearly. There's 2 bears, guys. At this point, I am like stoked. I'm like, 1 bear is like a blessing. 2 bears is like, oh man, like, what am I gonna do? Like, now I have choices to make. You know, which bear to shoot, which one's gonna come in, all that. That's what's running through my head at this point. So I'm like super excited. At this point, I am trying to get them both. My main mindset is just try to get them both to continuously come at the same time, if not just come at all. So I am like super excited at this point. So the bigger of the bear is actually the one that's on the right side, and I think that's actually the one with the white patch on her belly. I think it's a female. I'm assuming it's a female, and I'm thinking that the smaller of them is actually the 3-year-old cub that's actually just kind of hanging around still. Like, it's not quite a cub, but it's the cub of the bigger one. So that's what I'm assuming. I don't know 100%. For all we know, they might be just completely separate, not even related, but that's just my assumption, my personal assumption. Alright, so going forward, I'm just going to show you guys pictures of what I caught on my trail cams leading up to opening day. As you guys can see, there are times where there's actually no bait at the baiting site. Reason being is because those raccoons just continuously cleaned everything out. Like, bears will come through and the raccoons just like raid it right after they leave, and then like, the very next day, if the bears came back, there was just nothing there for them. And also, you guys noticed that bear with the white patch on her belly, she only came in during the night, while the younger of the two, the smaller of the two, that one was the only one that would actually come, I guess, within shooting light period. So that's where I was just kind of like frustrated, because I was like, hopefully this bear just kind of messes up and comes into the day. Either one of them, honestly, if they would have came into the day, I would have had like the best day of my life. But as you guys can see, leading up to the day, they were actually there. So they came all the way, they just kept coming every single day. So because she kept coming in at night only, I was thinking of plans and things to do to try to encourage her to come into the day. And so it was actually also at this point that I actually ran out of my #1 scent that I was using, and that was Gold Rush, Northwoods Gold Rush. So again, leading up to bear baiting, a lot of people are just suddenly just buying all this bear bait and their bear scent stuff. So then I actually had to switch my scent, and that's the one thing that I really never wanted to do, but I ended up having to do that. So I switched over from Gold Rush over to Butterscotch. They kind of smell kind of similar, but not exactly. Butterscotch has a more like a buttery smell to it, and Gold Rush is like butterscotchish, but it has like more of like a sweet, like a natural sweet taste to it, or smell to it. I don't know how to explain it. It's just you could tell they're slightly different. But I was like, you know what? I'm out of scent and I need scent to bring him in, so it should be okay. At this very same time, I had also changed my baiting schedule. Reason being was I was trying to encourage them to come out more frequently, and hopefully slip into the day. So at this point, I was almost baiting every day, if not every other day. So I went from 3 to 4 days. That was like every Wednesday and every Sunday, to like every other day almost. Because since these bears were hitting it almost every other day too, that's how frequently I started baiting them. So yeah, I was just trying to encourage them to come in earlier, or change their schedule up a little bit so that it will fall more into mine. So that's all for my 2024 bear baiting season leading up to opener. I had these bears coming in right in the beginning, and they sticked around throughout the whole entire month, and I just continuously kept it going. At the last minute, I decided to tweak my baiting schedule up a little bit to kind of change up their own schedule so it'll fall and tie in more with mine. And yeah, stay tuned to see if it actually worked or not. My next video is already filmed. My next segments of videos is actually filmed, because this is actually probably midway into the actual season itself now at this point. Again, I apologize for having not posted videos. it was very last minute for me to decide whether or not I want to do a vlog, because I actually was hoping to get the job done within a week to 2 weeks so that I could get a video out for you guys. And through that period, I did not do any filming of any other things that is fishing or any other hunting. So I was just mainly focused on this, and I hope you guys enjoy. Honestly, I apologize. I know not a lot of people like watching vlogs. I myself don't watch too much vlogs, but then you know what? This is something different from both I and probably for you, let alone bear hunting in general. So please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys, and yeah, until next time, peace.